It's the first morning of the diet swap, and breakfast for Amy is a plate of déjà vu. That's feeding clinic lingo for
leftover Chinese.
So how do you find this appetising in the morning? I mean, to be honest with you...
Because I don't even think about it. It's something I'll grab out the fridge, shove it in the microwave, gone.
And from takeaway to taken away. As for Supersizer Amy, breakfast is absolutely nothing.
Oh, gosh. That's beyond full.
Where I'm so hungry, I could have easily eaten that Chinese. I wouldn't have even thought twice about it.
I felt quite hungry, which was really good, but my worst nightmare was placed in front of me, which was yesterday's leftovers.
And the nightmare continues at lunch, as Superskinny Amy is faced with a chunky cheese and pickle sandwich and a large bowl of tomato pasta, while Supersize Amy's first bite of the day is a chocolate bar.
It's small.
I know, I'm so sorry. How long would it usually take you to finish a meal like this?
That'd be gone in 5 minutes, easy.
That's incredible. Definitely feels like my stomach is at its limit. I couldn't get another mouthful in.
Watching Amy eat that meal, especially since I just had the chocolate bar, it was difficult because once I started eating, I just wanted more. I'm struggling to concentrate. I feel quite fragile.
I think it's absolutely incredible that Amy can consume such large portions. The size was really, really big, and I did find it quite difficult, especially after my large meal this morning.
And it doesn't get any easier for Superskinny Amy with the appearance of a post-lunch snack.
What would compel you to eat this now, then?
It was there.
Oh, really, I can't believe how much food I've eaten. It's ridiculous.
Amy may be struggling with the amount of food on her plate, but she's already feeling the benefits of swapping a liquid lunch for something more hearty.
I feel I have quite a lot of energy, surprisingly, because I usually get all my energy from my cola, and having my cola taken away from me, I did think that I was going to be very lethargic and tired and exhausted, but I'm feeling OK.
The increase in energy from larger portions is a good thing for Superskinny Amy, but for Supersize Amy, prolonged overeating puts her at risk from a number of health issues, including strokes, heart disease and diabetes. To make sure she understands the implications of her diet, Dr. Christian has arranged a glimpse into the life of an American woman whose issues with food began at the age Amy is now.
So, have a look at this.
My name's Julie. I live in Spindale, North Carolina, and I weigh 29 stone. When I was 21 years old, I started to have a problem with food. I was in a bad marriage at the time, and when we finally got divorced, I internalized a lot of emotions, and I covered that by eating. I was a food addict, and when I was happy, I ate. When I was sad, I ate. And it was an emotional outlet. My obesity affects every part of my life. I have a 6-year-old. He wants me to come outside and play with him. And I have a chair out in the yard that I sit in because I can only stand for a short amount of time.
Yes, I just broke the chair.
It really makes me sometimes just feel like a waste of space. I mean, if I get real about it, I have no life like this. I get lesions on my skin where it rubs together, boils, it's painful. When my husband and I are intimate with each other, I do not feel attractive. I don't feel sexy. And even when my husband tells me, I love you, you're beautiful to me, I don't believe that. I mean, I have to be honest and just say, I feel gross. It's just depressing. I want to be feminine, and I can't. I wish I knew then what I know now, because my entire life would have been different. Amy, you're 21 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you. Don't let your life get out of control like I did. If you don't take care of it now, when you're 40, this is going to be you. And you don't want to be here, hon. It's like living hell. And I want you to have the happy life that you deserve. I want your children to have a mommy that can play with them outside. I want your husband to have a wife that isn't afraid to love him. Take care of it now, and don't let it get to this point, because once it gets here, it's awfully hard to change.
There's so much she was saying that I can relate to already. What she said at the end about me letting Darren know that I do love him, that's very true and hit a nerve.
I've got a surprise for you, because I'm going to send you out to America to meet her. Spend some time with her and her family and really find out her problems so that you realise how difficult her life is.
It was like a slap in the face, it was that real. She's at the stage where, because she's so big, she can't go and play with her 6-year-old son, and that's something I really am frightened of, is like, as Imogen gets older and gets more independent, that I won't be able to join in and interact with her and play with her, and that's actually one of my biggest fears.
For Amy, breaking the cycle of comfort eating is not going to be easy. But for the estimated 1.6 million eating disorder sufferers in Britain, issues around when, what and how much to eat dominate every waking moment. Last week, 3 women with eating disorders embarked on a course of therapy designed to help them challenge their unhealthy relationship with food, under the supervision of consultant psychiatrist Dr. Helena Fox and eating disorders dietitian Ursula Philpot. 32-year-old Meena Krishnan suffers from bulimia. Bulimics crave food, then secretly binge on large amounts before vomiting.
If I've eaten a normal meal, then I won't be sick. I like to keep the good food in. It's only when I binge on complete rubbish that I throw it up.
34-year-old Emma Paul suffers from anorexia nervosa, an illness characterised by the restriction of calories.
Food's constantly on my mind, planning out what I'm going to eat.
19-year-old Erin Ruddick straddles both illnesses. She suffers from a form of anorexia known as anorexia binge-purge subtype. Sufferers are very underweight, but their love of food leads them to lose control, secretly binging, then vomiting.
I only feel comfortable if my stomach feels empty. If I can feel food in my stomach, I feel anxious.
Dietitian Ursula Philpot has asked the group to meet her at the supermarket, a place that for all 3 girls presents different problems.
For most people, shopping is an everyday activity. But for people with eating disorders, being surrounded by food, having to make decisions about food, becomes a real anxiety-provoking experience.
Ursula has asked the group to shop for a well-balanced lunch. She's given them a list of ingredients for a carbohydrate-based meal, which includes pasta, a small side salad and a full-fat dessert.
I don't enjoy food shopping. I end up very much sticking to the same foods.
This task is designed to challenge the group by getting them to buy food with a high fat and high sugar content, which they would usually choose to avoid and consider unsafe. Emma's daily diet consists largely of fruit and vegetables, and she's finding it hard to move away from her usual safe foods.
Salad stuff, there's salad.
15 minutes later, Emma is still in the salad aisle.
That'll be it for salad. Right.
Emma almost completely denies her body any carbohydrates, and now she must face one of her biggest fears.
I haven't eaten pasta in a very long time. Ugh, hate it.
Sorry, this may take some time.
For Meena, being confronted by such a vast amount of food is an overwhelming experience.
There's so much to choose from. Food shopping is really not a lot of fun for me. I'll be staring at the, 50,000 types of bread thinking, what sort of bread should I get? I just get a bit panicky and unpleasant in supermarkets. It's pretty uncomfortable walking down this aisle because this tends to be the the bad aisle.
Meena generally binges on sweet foods, so being surrounded by so much of it and having to choose only one is tough.
Eating something like that will just make me think about being sick because that's the sort of thing I eat in order to be sick, so it's kind of, it's so depressing.
Buying high-fat and high-carb foods isn't so problematic for Erin.
I really like cheesy things, and I really like chocolatey things and cakey things, dessert type foods.
But her type of anorexia means she purges almost everything she eats.
Looking at all the yummy cheesecakes almost scares me a little bit. Thinking about trying to keep them in, because I never would, never ever.
However, they have managed to face their fears under Ursula's guidance. Now they're challenged with part 2 of the task, to eat the food they've just bought. For both Mina and Erin, the challenge is less about eating the food and more about dealing with the urge to binge, then purge after the meal.
I'm going to have that much because I might be able to keep that in.
Yeah.
Pasta and cheese are fear foods for Emma, and the thought of having to eat them is a daunting prospect.
I'll just put a little bit more on than that. No. You can't do any more.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Are you enjoying it?
No.
During recovery, sometimes you do have to eat even though you're not hungry, and you do have to stop even though you're not full, and you do have to eat things that you don't necessarily choose or enjoy, and it's tough. But I guess...
But like, normally I would enjoy salad, but I'm not even getting that today.
Despite her anxieties, Emma has given it a go. Mina and Erin managed to finish the first course, but their biggest challenge will be dessert.
For sufferers of bulimia nervosa, there's a fear that they will lose control on these types of foods and eat a vast amount in a short space of time, and then they will have to engage in self-induced vomiting. For sufferers of anorexia nervosa binge purge type, they will make themselves sick after a small amount of those tempting foods.
Ursula wants both Erin and Mina to start tackling the emotions they usually have when they eat sweet foods. She's prepared a fruit crumble for the group, and by using more fruit and less added sugar to sweeten it, Ursula hopes it will be less likely to trigger a binge for both girls.
After this meal, you may well be surfing the urge to binge. That urge will rise and rise and rise and feel like it's intolerable. If you can manage not to give in to it and manage just to ride the wave and surf the wave, that actually then that intense feeling will go.
In that particular setting, it was fine. I didn't feel triggering or anything. If it were just the crumble and me in a room and no one else around, one of us wouldn't make it.
In terms of keeping this down, what does that look like?
I can't think of desserts in terms of keeping it down. I can't really think of food in terms of keeping it down.
Do you think you'd be better off not to have any then in terms of keeping it down?
I think I'd be better off just shooting myself and getting it over and done with. That's how I feel.
You feel really bad about it at the minute? Erin, I think, has struggled not to purge all day, and after her meal she felt very uncomfortable. She held her stomach a lot after a meal. She looked very uncomfortable. However, I do feel that she has turned a corner slightly today. She recognises that she needs to do difficult things. In the past she's avoided them, and I think she's beginning to realise that that's one of the mistakes she's made.
Next time, the group confront their distorted body image when Ursula takes them to have 3D body casts made.
You don't want to look.
If you've been affected by any of the issues raised, go to our website channel4.com/Supersize v Superskinny.